What if the Voyager space probe, launched to make peaceful contact with aliens, accidentally led them straight to us and doomed the planet in the process? In 1977, humanity sent a message into the stars, Voyager 1. Packed with golden records and hope, it sailed into the void to explore the unknown. It snapped the first image of Earth and its moon from 1.6 billion miles away. By 1979, it was flying past Jupiter's moons and witnessing volcanic activity on Io. Then came Saturn. And finally, in 2012, it crossed the invisible line into interstellar space. We had made it, or so we thought. But while Voyager pushed into the darkness, something else was pushing back. Back on Earth, in a war-torn city half a world away, a squad of American soldiers was deep in enemy territory. Bullets whizzed past. Bombs thundered in the distance. It was chaos, but they were trained for chaos. Moving with precision, they neutralized threats, climbed to high ground, and set up snipers. Inside the building, room by room, they cleared out every armed target with brutal efficiency. The war had hardened them. Nothing could surprise them anymore, or so they believed. After clearing the building, the team returned to the streets. Fighter jets roared overhead. Then, they walked straight into an ambush. A heavily armed enemy squad was already waiting. Gunfire erupted again. The soldiers fought back hard but were outnumbered. One man went down. Rhodey rushed to carry him to safety, but there was no saving him. He was already gone. Pinned down, outgunned, the team tried to radio for backup. That's when it happened. The sky turned dark. A red glow burned through the clouds like hell opening up. Both sides froze, staring upward. Something enormous hovered above, a machine like nothing they'd ever seen. Then it fired. A single beam tore through the enemy squad, vaporizing them in an instant. The red glow turned white, electricity crackled through the air, and then lightning struck the soldiers, one by one. They weren't killed. They were taken. The team awoke, suspended inside alien machines, lungs filled with strange fluid. They choked, gagged, vomited, and finally breathed. Jax recognized the substance as stasis resin, but he had no idea how he knew that. The team was disoriented. The writing on the walls wasn't Russian, Chinese, or even human. Reyes discovered a plaque with all their names and military info. Again, he couldn't explain how he could read it. Their weapons were fully loaded. Their last memory, a firefight, and then the light. Kelly, their leader, snapped them to attention. They had to move, now. At the end of the corridor stood a massive door. No keypad, just a glowing circle. It didn't open on command. The team worked together and forced it open manually. Past that, more corridors, more locked doors. One door had been blown off its hinges. Rhodey spotted a vent hatch and sent Reyes in to scout. Crawling through the vents, Reyes followed a dim light to another exit and emerged on the other side. He signaled the team to follow. From this side, the door was burned and dented. Something had tried hard to get through. Nash made a grim guess. Maybe they were inside a secret prison. Or worse, a lab. As they moved deeper, they found signs of a massacre. Blood trails, power failures, and bodies. A single drop of blood landed on Reyes's face. He looked up and saw rows of mutilated corpses hanging upside down, headless. In the next room, they found another victim and a woman, handcuffed, barely conscious. Her name was Robbie, and she spoke a language they couldn't understand. They freed her, just as a monstrous creature appeared. It towered over Gibbs and slashed him with razor-sharp claws before tossing him aside like a doll. Nash found a strange alien weapon and tossed it to Rhodey, who activated it just in time to knock the beast back. They thought it was dead, until it roared again. That's when Robbie grabbed the weapon and shot it through the head, ending it for good. The survivors caught their breath. Robbie tried to explain something, but they couldn't understand, until Kelly shocked everyone by speaking her language. He didn't know how, but he could. A second alien appeared and opened fire, injuring Robbie. More monsters followed, laser weapons drawn. The team had no choice but to run. Robbie pulled a lever and slammed a blast door shut behind them. Kelly jammed it with a knife and told Jax to take Robbie and find a way out. More pounding. The door wouldn't hold. Reyes stayed behind to cover them, opening fire as aliens burst in. One grabbed his leg and pulled him out of the vent, until Rhodey blew its head off. Reyes didn't survive. The rest fled through beams and crawl spaces, landing in a storage room. Nash lost it, screaming about aliens and abductions. Kelly and Rhodey tried to keep everyone calm. Jax treated Robbie's wound. Kelly translated as she finally switched to English. They were on a spaceship. And Earth? Probably already gone. Meanwhile, far from the others, Reyes wasn't dead. Not yet. He was strapped to a cold slab surrounded by monstrous figures. They weren't just torturing him, they were studying him, probing his memories, extracting his knowledge. The aliens were after more than blood. They wanted intel, strategy, secrets. As they absorbed Reyes's memories, one scar-faced alien stood over a control panel. It had seen enough. It knew where to go next. Elsewhere on the ship, Robbie led the team down a long corridor lined with blinking lights. They crossed a bridge above a dark abyss. Then Jax looked down. It wasn't just darkness. Thousands of glowing capsules lined the walls like beehives, each holding a sleeping human. Robbie called them sleepers, frozen, forgotten, stored like trophies. In the next corridor, Kelly redid Robbie's bandages. They talked about life before all this. He told her he used to be a father, divorced, with a daughter back home. Probably a grown woman by now, if she was still alive. Nash, still shaken, wondered aloud, what if these aren't aliens? What if they're demons? And this is the rapture. Soon the group reached a massive hangar filled with Earth artifacts, cars, laptops, books, weapons. Everything the aliens had stolen. Rhodey pointed out something strange. Why weren't they being attacked? Kelly narrowed his eyes. They're hurting us. Jax volunteered to be the bait. He stepped into the corridor and started singing, loud, defiant. Sure enough, the aliens heard him and came running. Jax fired a few rounds and took off down the hallway, leading the monsters into the hangar. One by one, the team struck. Snipers above, bullets below. The aliens dropped like flies. But Robbie wasn't smiling. That was too easy, she whispered. The real attack came seconds later. A second alien squad entered, this time with impenetrable shields. Their armor deflected every shot. Even Nash's sniper rounds bounced off. The team tried to retreat. Jax turned to run, but took a blast to the back. He hit the ground. Dead. Nash screamed and avenged him with a shot straight through the killer's helmet. The survivors bolted for a side corridor and slammed the door shut behind them. But enemies were closing in from the other side too. They had to escape. Fast. Through a hidden hatch, the team slid down a tunnel and landed in a pool of bones and rotting flesh. The stench hit like a punch. Several threw up. Nash nearly had a breakdown. Kelly had to shut him up. Again. Then, a voice called from above. Robbie looked up and saw a face she never thought she'd see again. Her mother. Anya. She tossed down a rope and Robbie climbed up. Mother and daughter embraced. The soldiers followed, stunned. Anya wore a tattered Russian military uniform. She led them through the corridors with precision, avoiding sensors embedded in the walls. Eventually, she brought them to a hidden basement filled with makeshift art on the walls. A safe haven. Kelly explained how his team had awoken. Anya explained why. They had been part of the trophy room. But something had gone wrong. A power surge had shut down the machines. An accident? Maybe? Or maybe it was sabotage. Anya had been aboard this ship for decades. Kidnapped during the initial invasion. She'd lost count of the years. That's when the truth dropped like a bomb. It all started with Voyager. That peaceful probe, sent to invite extraterrestrial life to Earth, was found by the wrong kind of life. Predators. Conquerors. They followed the signal back. They struck first, not with bombs, but with silence. They kidnapped the world's greatest military minds, connected their neural networks to alien computers, and created elaborate simulations of warfare. They studied humanity's every tactic through false battles and dreamlike war games. The soldiers' nightmares? They weren't dreams. They were tests. The aliens learned everything, and once they had enough intel, they attacked for real. Earth fell in weeks. Anya called the visions gifts, pieces of knowledge the humans absorbed in return. Language, weapons, instinct. The ship they were on now? It was returning home with its spoils of war. Robbie's father had sabotaged the main reactor, buying enough time for the sleepers to awaken, but he died in the process. Anya had survived by hiding, adapting, blending in. Now she needed help. The aliens were repairing their comms relay, and if they succeeded, more ships would follow. They had to destroy it. Now. The team agreed. They wouldn't escape. But maybe they could stop the next invasion. They had one shot. Anya had explosives. Vents could take them to the top deck, but once they got close, the aliens would know. They split into two groups. Rhodey and Kelly would create a diversion. Nash, Robbie, and Anya would plant the charges. Through vents and corridors they climbed. Alien patrols prowled nearby. The plan was working, so far. Rhodey and Kelly taunted a sensor to trigger a patrol. It worked. The guards left the main deck, giving Nash's team their window. They planted the bombs, carefully, silently. Then backup arrived. Kelly activated the alien gauntlet. A shield shimmered to life, blocking blasts as he and Rhodey fired back. But they were outnumbered. Rhodey knew what had to be done. He closed the blast door behind Kelly. "I'll hold them," he said. "Save the others." Rhodey fought like a demon. Laser gun, pistol, fists, until he was grabbed and smashed into a wall. Face to face with the alien, Rhodey pulled the pins on 2 grenades. "See you in hell," he muttered. Boom. The corridor lit up in flames. Rhodey and the aliens were gone. Back in the control room, Nash and Anya faced a fresh wave of enemies. She handed the detonator to Nash, made him promise to protect Robbie, and then stepped into the gunfire. Anya went down, but not before blowing the charges. The explosion wiped out the room, the comms, and every alien inside. Nash and Robbie ran, but more aliens were chasing them. Nash threw himself into the corridor, drew their attention, and ran to a dead end, singing Jax's song, the same one from earlier. They shot him down, but not before he took most of them with him. Robbie kept moving, quiet, careful, hiding. Kelly, meanwhile, stumbled upon a room full of human prisoners, still alive, begging for help. He opened their cells, but was ambushed. He dreamt of his daughter again, and woke up strapped to an operating table. Just as an alien raised its blade, a shot rang out. Nash. Somehow he was still alive. The 2 men freed the prisoners and fought their way through the halls. Robbie joined them. Grenades, lasers, fists. It was chaos. One by one, they brought the monsters down. They reached the exit. But the alien leader was waiting. It stabbed Nash through the back. Kelly screamed and lunged with a blade. The 2 fought, brutally, savagely. Just as the alien prepared its killing blow, Kelly slammed a door shut, crushing the creature mid-charge. Silence. Robbie peeked out from the shadows. Kelly limped forward and helped her up. They stepped outside. Earth. But it wasn't the world they remembered. It was a wasteland, burned, broken, empty. But they were alive. And as long as they were breathing, there was still hope. If this story gripped you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more mind-blowing sci-fi stories and breakdowns. What would you have done aboard that alien ship? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.